first question, mate. What attracted you to pro wrestling, and who were your influences growing up?
What attracted me to pro wrestling? Probably just the athleticism and the colour and the entertainment and everything about it really just sort of drew me to it. And I suppose like everyone else that normally starts watching wrestling, they end up sort of becoming almost addicted with it and can't get enough of it. Idols in terms of, growing up and watching it, I've got so many, but the main ones would probably be Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Jericho, and Ricky Steamboat.
So were you like an attitude kid, or did you sort of get into that and sort of explore more?
I sort of started sort of probably a little bit late and then had to go backwards and, rewatch stuff. But I started watching wrestling probably at the age of 12 or 13. So, my friends sort of got me into wrestling and like in terms of watching it and stuff, and couldn't get enough of it. So I sort of started watching Nitro, and then I was more of a WCW guy, and then found out about WWE and fell in love with that, and
All right. Who were you trained by, and how did you actually find like indie wrestling in Australia?
I was trained by Enforcer, and the way I found out about it was my dad obviously knew I was a big wrestling fan, and I think he was just driving and he said he saw a poster on a car window.
Oh, okay.
And that at the time was Professional Championship Wrestling in Melbourne, and I sort of googled the name and did a bit of research and sent them an email, but they never got back to me. So then one Sunday afternoon, I just drove. My dad drove me down and just check out the school to see if it was open, not knowing if it was open or not. As I walked in, I was actually about to start a beginner's class, so I signed up straight away, and away I went.
Walked straight into a training session.
Yeah, quite strange.
Now moving forward, how did you actually hook up with the TMDK guys? Because they're mainly based in Perth. So how did that come about where you joined up?
They're mainly based in Perth. They do have other members, obviously, that they're trying to expand the group. So, they basically gave me a call. At the time, I wasn't wrestling too much. I was concentrating on my business. They got in touch with me and wanted me to join TMDK, and I was honoured and thrilled and more than happy to join the group. So, that was great.
Yeah, not long after you actually joined the group, you actually went to Pro Wrestling Noah, where you were in a junior tag team tournament with Roderick Strong. I mean, how much did you learn from teaming with like a former ROH like TV tag world champion? How much did you learn from just spending a lot of time with that guy?
Yeah, man, I learned heaps, not just from Roderick Strong, but even from some of the other Japanese wrestlers, and even Shane and Mike helped me out so much. Picking their brain and being on the road with them, non-stop for almost 5 weeks. It was a really great experience, and I suppose the main difference was actually doing so many shows. I mean, back home it's like you're doing 1 or 2 bookings a month, or 3 or 4 maybe max, but over there you're doing sometimes 4 or 5 shows in a row every week. So just the experience of wrestling so much in front of a big crowd, I suppose having the spotlight on you a little bit more, and being able to pick these guys' brains and be involved for so long, and it was a really great experience, and I think I've definitely come back a better wrestler from it as well.
Yeah, what were your experiences facing guys like Jushin Thunder Liger, someone you'd watched probably from when you were young, and like Tiger Mask, and your debut was like Kurikan Hall, which is the Madison Square Garden of Japanese wrestling, really. I mean, that must have blew your mind when you knew that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, it was really cool, actually. I suppose it helped in a sense because I'd been to Japan previously, so I sort of understood how the work style was, and I had wrestled in Korakuen Hall before, so that did help a little bit. But going there for Noah and being on such a bigger company, and wrestling like Jushin Thunder Liger and Tiger Mask, and all these main top guys that I've been watching was really. I sort of had to pinch myself a little bit, and even I was looking at, standing in the ring, and when Liger's music hit, I sort of looked at Roderick and I was like, this is crazy, and he was exactly the same. Like we were both pretty excited.
Now, that was only like a 5-week tour. Has it whet your appetite to head back over there anytime soon, or are you setting your sights on maybe the US or trying that market, or what are your actual plans for that?
No, definitely, mate. At the moment, it's kind of hard for me because I've got my own personal training studio in South Melbourne.
Yep.
Which is Get It Done Personal Training, cheap plug. So I'm sort of concentrating on that at the moment, but still would love the opportunity to head back over there and definitely work for Noah. They're a great company. They really look after you. And yeah, I'll just see what comes of that. And yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. Heading back to Australia, and you've got Wrestle Clash on October the 18th. You're on Team Bavaria with Rocky Monero and Mr. Juicy against the three amigos in the main event. For those of people who don't know, can you talk a bit about the whole Wrestle Clash concept and how this match has come about?
The Wrestle Clash concept's really, really different, really exciting, and really, I think it brings new fans in to come and see these shows. They're not just your normal wrestling show. It does have a lot of entertainment, a bit of a bit more showmanship to it with the themes and stuff of the night. So yeah, the show's a German theme. Try and celebrate Oktoberfest. So you're going to have your big steins of beer and pretzels and your bratwurst. I think Mr. Juicy's actually even doing a metre a litre challenge, which is a metre of bratwurst and a litre of beer. So I think someone's going to challenge him to an eating contest, which would be fairly entertaining.
Is that before or after your match?
I hope it's before, because it would be quite entertaining to see him try and wrestle with a belly full of beer and sausage. I think that'd be quite entertaining, actually.
Now, you've faced some of the top-level guys in this country and now internationally. Who are some of your favourites? Some guys that when you got in there really raised the level of your competition?
Well, there's so many. Like, I've had so many matches that you wrestle people and they sort of bring you up that extra level where you're like, wow, like they sort of, you think you're doing, it's like you think you're doing really, really well and you wrestle someone a step above you and you're like, wow, I need to work a lot harder. So, there's a few guys, to name a few, would be Shane Haste, Mikey Nichols, also Matt Silver. I can't think of too many, but yeah, there's a lot of guys that I've wrestled that I hold with a lot of respect and have had some great matches with.
Yeah. Now we've got some Facebook questions from fans. Kyle Woolenberg asks, are there any wrestlers in Australia that you would love to work a match with that you haven't already?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me just try and think. Who would be the number one guy I'd like to work with that I haven't worked with? Probably Adam Brooks at the moment. Probably Adam Brooks. He lives in Adelaide now, but he's probably one guy that I'm really looking forward to wrestling. So yeah, that's probably the main one at the moment.
Ah, cool. Yeah. Brendan Mahan asks, what any wrestler, past or present, would you love to face? I guess he's asking what dream match you would like to have had or could have, or
against anyone.
Anyone in the world, mate.
I'd have to say Shawn Michaels.
All right. Yep. And finally, Sam Forbes asks, in the last few years, we've seen Silvers, Emma, Rollins, and all the TMDK boys travelling overseas to a lot of success. Who do you currently see in the Aussie territory, if you will, being the next big one or ones to break out?
Ones to break out? Next big one, I suppose. Well, Matt Silver's in NXT at the moment, so he's probably the next big one. But also, I can't go past. I think even Shane and Mikey could even go further and maybe even go to WWE. I'm not too sure, but Rollins is doing really well in Mexico. It's really great to see so much talent now getting the international exposure and getting these opportunities. I mean, back when I first started, it was unheard of, and it didn't seem a reality that you could go overseas and actually do what you love to do.
Yeah.
So it's really great to see so many guys doing it. It's fantastic.
Do you ever, and this is just personally, do you ever worry that with so many guys like travelling internationally and doing all that, what it might do to the actual Australian product, being that they won't be around anymore?
In a sense, yes, but I suppose it gives other people, the younger guys who are training, an opportunity to step up. And that's probably, it could be a good thing. I mean, it's getting the name out there in the sense that, hey, Australia does have some great wrestlers.
Yeah.
To show the world that we do have some great professional wrestlers, and I think it only, it hurts at first, but it really does give those, the guys that are trying to break through an opportunity to step up, really kick ass, and sort of have great matches on the shows.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, mate, it's been awesome to talk to you, and we wish you all the best in the future. Now, if people want to follow you, give us your Twitter and your Facebook, and by all means, get your other business out. Get it out there, mate. Plug away.
Yeah, mate. You can follow me on Twitter at SLEX Addict. If you want personal training or gym memberships, we've got a personal training studio. Well, I've got a personal training studio in South Melbourne, so you can hit me up through my Twitter and find out about more details about prices and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and if you know anything about SLEX, he's really transformed his body over the last few years. So I mean, any advice you can get from training.
And I've transformed my haircut too. Terrible hair back in the day. It was very long. I didn't know what I was doing. It was crazy.
All right,
hopefully all the photos are deleted and there's none on Facebook.
No, well, see, that's the internet, mate. They'll always be there.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Friday, 18th of October, 2013. It's the Brawl in the Beer House at the 1,000 Pound Bend. Get your tickets at wrestleclash.com.au. SLEX, thanks so much for joining us, mate, and all the best for your match.
Man.
And
hopefully everyone comes to the show. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be entertaining as hell. There's going to be shit. There's going to be beer. There's going to be brawls. It's going to be a great show. So make sure you come along because you don't want to miss this show.
Yeah, and if Juicy does the eating thing before, mate, just stay well away from him.
Yeah, definitely will be.
All right, thanks very much, mate.
Thanks, Todd. Have a good one.
You too. Thanks, man.
Come on, baby.